Amazing, 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 my beautiful people. As we always promise, is that we want to let you understand and get the knowledge of everything that you're looking for. How can you know unless someone explains to you? It's the show, and we say this is the best show in East and Central Africa, and soon we get into the world because the comments we're receiving from other people from different parts of this world are really, really encouraging us to continue with this. And today you have the best host Alan Hoy, and our visitor si mgeni sana vile, but ni mgeni to those people who are following us from today, yeah? So
Yeah.
he will introduce himself, what he does, then we come up with the topic that we're talking about today. Karibu sana, Reverend.
Thank you, Alan.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
My name is Reverend Henry Ambundo. Professionally, I'm a psychological counselor
Wow.
and also a church minister.
Anasemanga nani? Mr.
Preacher man.
Preacher man. Anajitanga preacher man. So,
Yes.
Mr. Henry,
Yeah.
Reverend Henry, let me use that, Reverend Henry. You know, life is life, and sometimes we might not determine what happens next.
Yes.
And on our series on Christian marriages, you're tackling each and every that happens in marriages, every angle of a Christian marriage, just to give people an understanding of what happens and how should we behave, or how should we react, or what should be our next reaction when such a things happen. And today I want us to talk about loss and grief in marriage. When you lose your loved one, when you lose your wife, or someone lose the husband, like how are we supposed to carry ourselves, and for how long should we continue grieving? Because there are people who will grieve forever. Yeah, and there are those who will grieve 1 week, next week they have married.
True, it depends on how you have structured, I should use that, structured yourself to grow out of grieving. But for information, grieving is necessary.
Sure.
It's one way of healing. We assume that when you're grieving, you will not grow, but grieving has stages that you go through in order to heal. Because if you don't grieve, then you will not heal. You may suffer for years, even if it's so after 30 years, it will still resurface. And you are saying we talk about loss and grief.
Yes, loss and grief.
Okay, if you were to define loss, there's many definitions. And loss could be permanent, could be temporal. And loss includes many other things that you lost, could even loss of relationship.
So I want us to talk about the permanent loss. That is, your spouse is dead. You'll never see this person again.
You'll never see another Alan.
Another Alan again. Alan is gone and gone completely.
Or another Mbundo.
Yes.
He's gone and he's gone.
He's gone and gone.
Usually people think that you can replace the one you have lost.
Sure.
It's what they say, a cup that cannot be filled. Yeah, you may get somebody else, but it may not be Alan or Mbundo.
May not wear Alan shoes.
No, so it's
he might pretend to be Alan, but never wear Alan shoes.
Never. And that is why it's very important to grow and heal out of it. But because it's a permanent loss, you can remain in a permanent grieving. People may not realize, but in the way you are behaving, it will show you that you have been stuck, you have never grown, you have not healed.
But is it right for someone to remain that permanent grief forever?
No, it's dangerous, because it will affect you even physically. You will start developing very serious health challenges or problems just coming out of grieving that you have not healed from grieving. Yes.
So for how long should someone take to heal from any loss? This is a permanent loss, someone that you love. Maybe you've been with this person for, let's say, 20 years. Then this person passes away. There is a chemistry that you guys had grown together or developed in between the two of you and all that you can't just let it go. And then there's that instance when, you get married today, and then after 1 year, your husband goes. There's that short-term relationship. Okay, you've been in that relationship for a very short time, then this person goes, and there's that you've been in this the longest, then this person goes. Like, how do you deal with the two? And then there's the third one where you're still courting,
Yes.
then your fiancé
Yes.
dies.
Yeah.
Like, how do you deal with the three?
Okay. You will deal them, or they are dealt with in different levels. Even including even if you have lived in a marriage for over 20 years, but the level of grieving may not be necessarily the same like the other person. If we're assuming we have been in a marriage with you at the same period, and you lose your spouse and I lose my spouse, the level may not necessarily be the same because we have been in the same period together. It depends on the relationship you had between the two of you. And so it determines the level of your grieving. You may find somebody who has been with a spouse for a year is even grieving more than the one who has been with the spouse for 30 years.
Kwanda huyo mwenye amekuwa na spouse for 30 years and then is not grieving as much mwenye amekuwa ni alikuwa anangojea kufa.
Yes. Not really anangojea kufa. It's the depth of your relationship that you've had. Determines also. For example, even let me say, including even if let's say like your child, if you lost your child, the level of the mother's grief and the father's grief may differ. The mother's one may
be longer,
much longer or higher in grieving when because it's somebody who started growing inside her. And so that's a level. Also, like I said, the relationship that you've had, how close you have been, will also determine how the depth of your grieving. And as I said, for you to grieve and be able to heal, you have to go through various stages. We have a scientist who came up with 5 stages of grieving by the name Dr. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. She came up with 5 stages of grieving. The acronym DAPTA.
DAPTA.
That is denial.
You start with denial.
Yeah. Then anger.
Getting angry over whatever is happening.
Yes. Then bargaining.
Will it work or will not work? Will I ever get it or not?
Then depression. And
now you are realizing that it's gone. I'll never see this thing again.
You are bargained, it's not happening, and there you are. You're going to depression. Until now you accept it, then you are able to move on with life. And those stages may not go in that sequence or in that ladder. Some are stuck in others, some may forego the other. But we are talking of Christian grieving. That's why I said you may not have actual time of grieving. It will depend on how one has learned to go through these stages and move on with life. Regardless of what he hears from people, that life must go on. You know, we make some comments that they actually they worsen the situation
more than healing the situation.
Yeah. That hiyo ni njia.
Hiyo ni njia ya Mungu.
We are all going there.
Mungu anajua.
Mungu anajua.
Na Mungu alipanga.
Somebody who is grieving doesn't take anything of that type.
Do you know people say that because it's something that they've had each and every person say around as a way of comforting someone?
Yeah.
But what they don't realize is even at that moment there are people who won't really know, who won't really come to a sense that God is in control of each and everything that's happening around them. And maybe the last thing they will want to hear is the name God.
In those stages of anger, you are even angry with your God.
Sure.
Yes,
Yeah. And it's natural.
it's natural.
Like,
It's normal.
yes, you'll ask yourselves questions. God, you said this is what you can do. Why did you allow it to happen?
Yes, and why on me? Why this
Why
time?
me
And
and not? Yeah.
why,
No.
and why? So many questions of why, which no many human being cannot answer. It's
Mhm.
only God who can answer the whys.
Mm-hmm. So you said all these stages, like it doesn't mean that they will flow from the first one to the fourth one, the fifth one. Yeah, like sometimes they can interchange depending to the person involved in that.
Yes,
Yeah,
true, true.
yes, but that is on a professional level.
Yeah.
Do these things really occur naturally, or there is a way it's programmed and all that? Because there are people who don't really understand that. Yep.
It will depend on the support you are getting around from the other beloved of brothers, friends. You are likely to grow faster or go through those stages faster and move on. And thank God for the Christians. The word of God helps them to move and move fast, even after they had didn't like what God has allowed it to happen in their marriage or in life. Yes.
Because that is one thing that most people, especially at the stage of denial, is one place that most people overstay there because they don't believe.
Mhm.
Like, how did
Yeah.
it happen this
Yes.
way?
Yes.
Why him? No, why him? Why him? Why him? Why him? Why him? In this way, many people stuck. Then they will develop other characters. Like someone will say, mi wacha nikunywa hata kama alikuwa Mkristo. I love this person so much. Naanza kukunywa pombe kidogo to relieve the stress and all that. I will engage in another activity to relieve the stress and all. And these are some of the advices that they are given, not really with the professionals, but even some professionals who give given advices. Tell you to engage in given activities to try to forget whatever happened and all that. But some people, that is too hard for them to just let it go.
Yeah.
You said
That is the worst stage if you are found stuck there, because that one comes automatically. If while and I told you somebody has called and he says your father is dead, what is your first reaction? The word no. Oh no.
aje.
Aje. It can't be.
Of course it can be.
Yeah.
Nimeongea na msee sahi na hajaniambia kama ni mgonjwa ameenda aje. No, okay, that will always be the first question. By the way, denial is the first thing that happens naturally. Yeah,
but it becomes positive when you are now going through that stage, because you are suspending some hurting that would cause a problem to you, emotionally or psychologically or physically.
but naturally they say men don't cry. They cry. They shed their tears in their stomachs. Like if I can use my native language.
Just flow inside.
Basacha sorry mom, sorry for that. Why am I not getting my okay, men don't cry. Like their tears, they're not shed outside, they're shed inside. Like the community wants you to be a strong man, and you should not be able to cry, because if you cry, they'll see you as a weak person. But in this case, you've lost someone that you dearly love. Like, how do you approach that? Do you want to listen to the community, what the community will say, or you listen to yourself and do what's right for yourself?
Those cultural norms that have no value. If anything, they destroy us. And that's why maybe I don't know if it has been researched. They say men live shorter
Than women, because you don't want to express their emotions
by 6 years shorter. Because we don't express emotions, it's like we're bottling pressure into ourselves, and it's like a can you are boiling, seal the can with water, and it can happen. What happens if there is just a valve to open up? It will blow.
But no, the community makes it look like there's no one who is ready to help a man. Like a man should be so strong to help each and every person, even when you're hurting. And when you cry, they see you as a weak person.
Yeah, those are what we are saying. As much as we are winning the favor of the community that is a strong man, but inside, what you are feeling, truly you are not strong. And that is what actually destroys us, that you have now those funny diseases that start developing, pressure
early stage.
at a very early stage because you didn't grieve properly.
Before you realize you're gone.
Yeah.
So what you're trying to say is, men, we should cry. If it comes to crying, we should cry.
If you fear people will see you, get
Yeah.
a closer tied there
Yeah.
and cry.
Or you can
Cry.
walk. You can walk when it's raining. You walk in the rain and cry.
So that it hides tears.
Yeah, it will hide the tears, and then it will hide the noise again. No one will hear that you're crying
No,
and all that.
you need
Yeah.
somewhere you need to really feel yourself, talk to yourself, and when you are crying, and you'll feel very good after you have cried in a closet and you come out, you have wiped.
You've
Those
wiped the
are
tears. No one knows that you've cried.
You don't want to show your friends.
So should we start a men crying association? Men, when you're feeling overwhelmed, you just have to cry. Call me, we cry together. I'll help you to cry, to just let that pain leave you, because the more we keep that pain in us, the more it hurts us more and more and more. You might be smiling on your face, thinking that things are done and everything is done, but deep inside you're still hurting. So we don't have a choice but just let it go. Because if you go kwa matanga somewhere or in a funeral somewhere, you'll hear most voices are for women. They're really wailing out and crying themselves out for the loss of whatever they have lost. But for men, you only hear them
Murmuring is
just that
voices.
murmuring. And men around you will be trying to encourage you, bro usilie, man, don't cry, it's normal, it's ni njia yetu sisi wote, as you said. It's our way, we will all end up there. But what you don't realize that this guy has lost some 35 years. Like, what is the best approach before tuanze kusema it's normal?
The best approach, if you are a good friend of the mourning, let me say the grieving, because mourning is not necessarily grieving.
Grieving, yeah.
No. If you are a best friend of the person grieving, just present yourselves, be there. Just be there.
And allow him to cry.
And allow him to cry, even if you are not talking anything. And even if he's not crying and it's just quiet, just be quiet. Give him time. Ayub, not Ayub, yeah, Ayub, yes. Job. The three friends, when they came and for 7 days they were just quiet, things were well, okay. But the moment they started talking, they
destroyed everything.
So it's good to sometimes just shut up. If you have to talk, maybe just to pose a question, is there anything I can help, could do for you? Sometimes they may close up, they may feel that they are transferring their burden to you. So they may not even tell you, can you help me this? So suggest, let me help you this. I'm going, I'll be living here, I'll go to the market. Can I bring you something
to eat?
Yeah.
There are people who offer a way to help, but now even the help that they're bringing in is more destroying than building. So which kind of help should we propose,
At least, well, it may not be really destroying. It may not have that appetite. For example, if it's food, but he will know that my friend is standing with me.
At least I got someone around me.
Yeah, to a shoulder to cry on. Yeah.
So naturally, with women, for them, you'll see other women coming in and crying together with them. Yes. Some of them might not be really meaning, but they are just doing it to encourage you to cry louder and take away the pain and all that. And it naturally, as you said, they accept it, and then they're healing. The healing comes in as quick as possible. Yes. But for us men, we bottle it up, and then after some time it comes out, and then that's when you start asking very many questions and all that. And most of the time you'll hear people say, okay, people bring you like alcohol to take to try and forget on all that, but that is just for a very short period of time. Like for a permanent loss, it's something that you'll never ever see again. And every time you think about these people, you remember all those other things. Is there a way that people postpone grieving and they start grieving later in their lifetime?
They do postpone, and that is part of what we call it's still denial. You are postponing what you think will will challenge you, or you will not be able to do something. So you don't want to grieve. For example, you are the firstborn in a home, you have lost your mom, or even your wife. Like we are saying, we're talking of a marriage, loss of a spouse.
Sure.
You are everywhere. You want to do everything. Even when somebody wants, a brother
help
wants
you.
to help you, you are saying, no, I'll do it myself. You're actually trying to preoccupy your mind so that you don't grieve fully, which is also dangerous.
So the thing is, okay, sometimes I don't know, but I don't know how to say this, but sometimes it gets much, it gets much involving, and most people might not be involved in all that. Okay, again, depending to the life that you're living in with the people around us, no? And that's why some of the people will be like, akiwa mgonjwa kunisaidia, saizi amekufa ndio mnakuja kunisaidia, achaneni mi nifanye, like it's out of anger.
Yeah.
They're that, okay, now you said all these stages they don't really flow venye zinafaa, sometimes they interchange. So at that time this guy ameanza na anger, no, you guys were not there when I was in need, when I was nursing them, now you're coming over here, you want to help me, like what do you think you're going to offer over? Yeah.
Okay. Well, what I say, these 5 stages are not meant, or they're not looked at as something that destroys you. When we talk of like anger, like bargaining, like depression, there are stages you are going through, but you need to move out of them. And by moving out of them, they may come out. It's not that what you arrange, that since I've been in a denial, now I want to move into anger. Now I want to,
like there's a procedure to follow them.
That it's that I'm going step by step or stairs. No, there are things that there are feelings that come automatically, and if you don't move out of it to find yourself now into the next one, you can get stuck, and that's where the danger is. But when you allow, for example, in the denial, you have now to start thinking of how do I accept. And you may find maybe before you get even how to accept, you have already gone through anger, that why did this happen? And it comes with a sense of guilt also. You are saying, couldn't I have done something
wrong
better earlier to save this? Assuming your spouse has been going through a challenge, sickness for long, and maybe finances could not allow you to attend to her challenge. And now it happens. You have a lot of questions, and even if you knew you had a challenge of finances, you'll start feeling guilty. Couldn't I have done something?
Maybe I would have done much better to come and help in this situation.
Made an effort to save the situation. That is what it is. And also you may find, like we said, the level of mourning. Some grief is stigmatized, assuming your spouse, say you are a wife and your spouse, people are complaining, is a thief, although we are talking of a Christian
Christian marriage.
But even Christianity, of course, sometimes without a testimony, you never know what other people do.
Sure, very true.
This man had, alikuanga na tembea tofauti. That level of grieving, you find it stigmatized. You are saying, even like your son, he has been a thief and now he's killed by police. The level of grieving, because you want to cry, and
there's still pressure mounting onto you from the outside.
This
speaking negative about
it. Deserved it.
Hata tungemchoma. Now, okay, in that situation, how do you deal with it? And even sometimes to sometimes to spouses.
Yeah.
Maybe your spouse was not a straightforward person and all that. And then whatever happened. Maybe he died a death that is not natural, as people say.
Yeah.
I don't know which one is natural and which one is not natural. Death is death at the end of it. And then you're trying to get yourself out of it, but constantly people are reminding you of the same. Yeah, people are coming and say, hata mimi alinifanyia hivi, hata mimi alinifanyia hivi, hata mimi alinifanyia hivi. Like, how do you get yourself out of that?
Sometimes they can worsen your state of grieving the situation, because people are murmuring he was killed doing this, this how he found this, the fate of his death, he found him, and you are not open to grieve. That's why sometimes as a Christian, now the word of God gives us hope that he'll comfort us. Yeah. Blessed are they that mourn, for they will be comforted. I think it's Matthew chapter 5, verse 4.
Does it really fit in that context? Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. Does it really fit in that context?
Yes, so as a believer, and you believe in the word of God, and focusing on him that will comfort you, he'll start releasing some peace to you. Yeah.
Okay, at any given point, God can come through for you and give you an understanding of a given thing. So I might agree on that. Yes, but generally it's too tough, especially when the working of the person involved of the deceased was not the right within the community and all that.
Yeah.
Because for you, you'll be grieving, like at other people on the other side will be celebrating. And it's like, why are you guys celebrating? We've lost a life and all this other way. No, we should not be celebrating. You should be, at least you guys should be sending me some condolences or encouraging me from what I'm going through and all that. So that's on another level and all that. And then you talked about, one-on-one. Then after grieving, okay, how long should we grieve?
Okay.
How long should we in denial? Because again, life has to continue.
Grieving and how long, also I don't have a definite period, but in most cases you may find it takes 18 to 24 months. Somebody, you find the continuous grieving. It can be shorter and it can be longer, but if you want a standard time period of grieving, it's between 18 and 24 months.
18 and 24 months, that's the standard one.
Yeah.
At least within this time, this person would have healed.
Yeah. It
Or
can be shorter.
he would have done 99% of the process. So the remaining 1%, it's something that they can deal with as they continue with life.
So those who have accepted it faster will heal quickly, will end their grieving quickly. Those who may not have been faster moving to heal, it may take longer. And when you bottle it in, you may think you have healed, but after 30 years, you'll have a disorder related to. Until when a counselor is exploring you, and then you'll know what is the effect. Is the grieving, you didn't grieve well, or you got stuck in some stage. Yeah, or a place.
But are there people who just heal completely from that?
They do, especially Christians who have hope that we shall meet, especially when they were
born again.
Born again. They move very fast, and that's the way how the peace of God comes in very fast, and they heal very fast because they have been assured that soon we will be together and in eternally, not as the period we took on earth here, but now forever. That hope,
where no one will ever leave the other.
Yeah, where there's no pain, there's no death, there's no sickness.
No sicknesses. Yeah. Everything is constant. It's life. It's life. Everything is constant. So the next question to ask now, in case of a spouse, or maybe your spouse died when you're still very young, and then you're grieving. You said that the grieving period depends from one person, varies from one person to the other person. There are those who will take a short time to grieve and they want to continue with life. There are those who will take a longer time to grieve and take a longer to continue with life and all that. But there are the needs that you can't pause. They'll continue to be there. Now I'm talking about remarrying. At what point should someone remarry? Because again, this one is mostly dictated by the communities that we're living in. Maybe your spouse dies and in 3 months time you're married. There's some people start saying, alikuwa anangojea tu akufe
Ndio.
aoe.
Eh,
Hata kuna uwezekano walikuwa kwa uhusiano na huyu mwanamke
yeah,
ama na huyu
before.
mwanamme kabla huyu afanye nini,
Akufe.
akufe. And then they might tag something asema maybe amemuua tu ndio aoe huyo mwingine. Like, what's the Christian approach to this? Because Paul says if you're below 60,
Okay.
you should remarry.
True.
Mm.
First of all, what we need to know is we are actually talking to Christians or those that may happen to become Christians will have known what it is. Marriage, like we had from the very beginning, starts with God. So you need to start committing yourself to God, seeking His guidance, praying about it, and allowing Him to make an appointment for you at a given time according to His will.
Sure.
And it will happen in His own way. And definitely it may not be as short as you are saying, 3 months or so. If you are seeking the guidance of God. There are some people whom I've wondered when they're like eulogizing people and they're giving very, very, very strange statements to person who's grieving. Asema tafuta mwingine usiche uka. They don't know what this person is going through.
Don't let loneliness kill you.
Because this person who is grieving does not see any other person that can match the one he had. Hata kama there were some differences in the house which are normal ones, but through they have lived on as a couple, they have forgiven each other, they have moved on. You can never get a replacement. You need God's guidance. You need God's to take His time, the best time, which is God's time. Moving very fast can cause even bigger problems because you will never find a one who is the one God gave you first. But it's allowed. The Word of God says it's only death that can separate you, and when they have separated you, you are free.
Through death, you're free.
Don't take 2 months, 3 months, and you're saying nimepatwa kuoa. And so you don't, as a Christian, you don't submit yourself to the culture, to the community, the society, because they will not come and live with you there. Watakusukuma tu when you are gotten into it. And then, because it's as a process that you have to go through. Even the one you are going to marry, you have to start as if you are fresh spinster or a bachelor who is courting. You have to discuss issues, even how you will live in your house, because there could be children there. And this person, like again we say it, the Englishman who says love is blind. The man may be blind to what that family is about, or the wife. And they may not know that they're going to take care of children
in that family
of another man or children of another wife. Yes.
So we need to take time with an understanding.
Yes.
Like we need to be guided with God in each and everything that we're doing.
Exactly.
So because we're not Christians are not just like any other person and all that.
No.
But sometimes you find out that these other people have played, okay, they have done it much better than us Christians. Like for us Christians, we failed in one or the other. But that person is not a Christian. They have walked through and all that with that understanding and all that. Then they have made the right decision and all.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
And also... it happens sometimes. You may they have made a right decision, and it depends also on the partner you have gotten also, how also she grew up or he grew up, how the love we had even for children of another wife or another husband. And that's like, but you may find, like we said, grieving maybe for years. When I was young, I would find I would see a woman who lost her husband, and she got married. Maybe what we call in Kiluya, kurudisha.
Yakarusiho.
And then a neighbor in the surrounding dies. Then when this woman comes mourning, you find he's saying, nenda unisalimie bwana yangu. And yet already she is in a marriage. He's still grieving of the other person. So even how long you are taking to get married, you'll never sometimes totally be separated from the one you had from the very beginning.
And that was my very question that I was to ask you next, because we can easily move on, but their experiences and the things that you've done with those that who have already gone, that we will never ever forget, not really forgive. We will never ever forget. Now, how do you carry that on? Because again, you don't need to deny the next person their happiness because you're still thinking about those who are gone. Like, how do you balance the two?
Well, it's just all about how did you heal and how did you decide life must continue. And if it has to continue, you go back to the word of God that we have been separated by this thing called death. And then when you are separated, you have grieved, you have healed, you forget about it. Now you are looking into the future. But because there is already a connection there, there are children there, it becomes a challenge also. You need to know how to handle yourself so that they don't feel like my mother died, you forgot, and that was it. So they can also poke you down because your relationship with the children and relationship with the grave, the children may feel that when you buried their mother, you forgot about
Everything
them,
about
and
them.
they want you to feel that you are still
Available.
and in your mind, their mother is still with you. When you are supposed to have now
Let it go.
disengaged it and let it go.
And another problem is always someone comparing their current relationship with the past one. Like, mwenye ako sahii anakukosea and then unasema, I wish so and so was here. She would have understood, or he would have understood how to deal with this. No. Like, how do you take that one? Because again, you're hurting the person who is here, who is present.
True.
Like, why are you comparing me with them? I am not them and I'll never be them. No, like, what I'm trying to do is to offer what I can offer the best. But still, again, the guy who, this other guy will be like, I wish this person was here, he would have done much better than then. Maybe sometimes they're speaking these things out of anger. No. Does it mean that this person did not heal completely before they call themselves into the next relationship?
Yeah, there are some stages that they would trigger the grieving you had, and this shall come back when such a situation comes in, like that condition, how your past wife or husband used to treat you. Now the other one is treating you opposite. You remember the relationship you had. Now it brings you back the day he departed or she departed through death. And it can also easily cause another poor relationship in the new marriage, which can cause even in a divorce.
Sure.
Yeah, because your new wife is saying, he's always comparing me to his late wife. Mwambia nao kama namna hiyo, pipi yako ndio huyo ama bwana yako ndio huyo nalala hapo nje hapo.
Enda ukae naye huko.
Enda ukae naye huko. Ama kama is a wife in the same home, anasema pipi yako iko hapo. And when you start feeling that, hearing that, and it starts even projecting to the children. Your mother is outside there.
Of which is not the best way to take it.
And the father, you will not like that.
And now for you who to whom all these things are projected onto, like, I think, how do you behave even as you give them the last, okay, you're parting short on all this all issue of loss and grief in marriage and couples, like, maybe this is person X and this is person Y. Person Y lost, person Y is a man who lost a wife who is person X. And then person Y married another, married A, who is the wife who came in after the wife wife X died.
Yeah.
And then person Y does what person A does. That's like, I wish I had my person X here with me. Should have understood me more. Like, in understanding, how should person A, how should wife A deal with that?
Okay, that is why I said when you are getting into a second marriage, assuming you are young, yeah, you are not elderly, you say that I live like this until I die. But even nowadays, even young wives are deciding to live alone because they want to take care of their children.
Sure.
Because she doesn't imagine to leave her children in a home of the late husband under the care of uncles or of the parents-in-law. They have their children at heart. It's the only something left with her after the husband. So they would rather they decide, even if I'm below 60 or whatever, I will not get married. I'll remain. But for those who get into second marriage, mainly are basically are men. Yeah,
Sure.
because we have challenges with men also. I'll go and look for firewood and vegetables. Plucking vegetables from the shamba going to
It's just
the
because
mill.
you don't have time. I would have asked you several questions on that, but it's okay. We'll work on that next time.
Yeah. So the advice I would give is before you get into the second marriage, seek God's guidance, seek God to show you another person that he has allowed you to get married because he allowed to take the other one or allowed the one to go to happen. Seek his guidance so that he can bring you somebody that you will agree based on the word of God. Even when you agree, you you don't disagree you don't agree to disagree. You agree to reconcile and come back and move on with life, just like one would handle his marriage or her marriage, the first marriage. There are challenges there, but people still, Christian will come together, talk, communicate, and reconcile and move on with life. So such as feelings will come in the second marriage, but if both of you are Christians, you have a solution, and the solution you find it in the manual, which is from God, the, the one who instituted this institution called marriage. You'll find an answer there. And it's through his word that you'll be able to forgive each other, move on, and know that death has parted the two. So the one who is gone is gone. Move on with your children, with your new wife, or with your new husband, with a joint marriage of a father with the children, a mother with the children, if she was also a widow and a widow, or you are a young lady who didn't have a child, you have come and you are taking your own children with this husband and other children of a former wife.
I would like to ask you a very hard question,
Yes.
but let me keep it for now.
Okay.
I'd like to ask you a very hard question, but let me keep it for now. But maybe I can introduce that question after I've said whatever, and then we'll talk about it later. To add on what you have said, and it's also good if something happens unto you, there are things that you don't speak them out loudly. As much as you're trying to compare them, let it be in your heart and all that, because it will be painful to tell someone, I wish my dead wife would have been here. She would have done me much better and all that. Like, it will be too painful to the person who is listening to it. So sometimes it's good, as much as you see they have not done how you expect them to do. We are all able to learn. Teach them how to do it. Just tell them, I like it when it's done this way, but don't compare them with the past, so and so alikuwa ananifanyia hivi, pia wewe unifanyia hivyo, because we are not the same. We are wired differently and we do things in a different way. So as much as you have that pain and all that you're going through, and you like things to work your way, the best way is to suggest how to teach, suggest how it should be done, but don't tell them this is how they used to do it to me and all that. So you should be doing it that way and all that, because that one will hurt the other person. For you, there will be very, very, very innocent words, but the way the other person is getting them and digesting them,
You're
and
stabbing them a knife.
yes, you're stabbing them a knife without knowing that you're stabbing them a knife and all that. And that's why it's good for us to be angry, but we should not let that anger lead us to sinning.
Yeah.
Yes, because sinning is not just only, it can be talking wrong things, bad things to someone else on the other end, and people won't really understand, and then you don't know the level at which that person is to forgive you at that very stage. They might never forgive you for that, and they might keep it for themselves for the longest, because they're still thinking about that. The question I wanted to ask you is, you say this person is gone, and then you say that you ask God to lead you and give you another person that He wills. Does it mean that, let me not ask that question. Does it mean like there's an option? When this one goes, there's an option. You can get another option. God can create you another option. That's a rhetorical question. You don't need to answer. You don't need to answer it now. No, but this is posed to even the viewers and those who be commenting. Does it mean there is a plan B for God? If your spouse dies, God can give you another person who will understand you. I don't have answer to that. I don't have an answer to that. It's just something to make us discuss, and maybe we'll talk about it after we've really heard from God about the same, and God has given us a direction on the same. We don't want to speculate. We said we don't speculate. We only talk of what we know is right, and God has said it. So how can we know unless someone explains to us? Keep subscribing and hit the notification bell that every time we upload any video, you get it. And we said this content is free for each and every person who likes to watch, and it's good for learning. If you have any question, just put it on the comment section. We will read that question and we'll try to answer it as God leads us. We love you, and you know you love us too, and all we desire is that you make the right decision from wherever place you're in. God bless you, and God keep you. May He restore you and heal you. For those who are hurting in any kind of way, those who are hurting from the people that they have lost, may God encourage you and heal you in each and every way, in each and every angle of your life, so that you realize that there's a life that you need to live. Whatever happened, and it's that way. Accept it and move on, because accepting is the greatest thing that you can ever do in all these cases. See you same place, same time, with the same guest. God bless you and keep you. Asanteni sana.